Hello and welcome to Master Edison format. This is a channel for you to get better at Edison, and today we have kind of a spicy deck. I'm playing on my second account with kind of where I've started to try all my kind of fun decks, and we're playing Virus Vayu. And this is not just any Virus Vayu list that, you know, typically you see the 3 deck Devi and the Eradicator in the side. Here we're going, you know, pretty much all in. We have the Fusilier in the main and the Eradicators in the main as well. We have Mind Crash in the main. I even tried, you know, in building this deck, I tried to have all 3 Fusiliers, all 3 Eradicators, and 2 Skilled all in the main. But it was a little bit like too much in the sense that like you kind of lose a lot of the consistency, and yeah, I think it's cool. I think that, you know, just any card that gives you hand knowledge is kind of underrated, like, because, you know, if you're a good player, you can, you know, you can take advantage of that. You know, the value of Eradicator is not just the cards you take, it's also the cards you don't take. Just knowing about them helps you play around them, helps you play better, and yeah, I think you know, it's definitely kind of an added bonus to this, and even like some cards like Mind Crash can be you know, quite good, where like even if you don't hit, you get to see the hand. So like that information is really good. And, you know, of course, with all the Eradicators, like you basically know your opponent's hand all the time. Yeah, you also have the dash shoot here. The rest of the deck is kind of like a Vayu, like it's not really a Vayu Turbo, it's more of like a Nitro Vayu kind of shell with the 3 Greffers, Elfin, so you can go into the Armor Master immediately. You have, you know, you don't have Raikkonen and Charge. I put this in the side if I'm going first, I can bring this in. But in general, you just don't have a lot of space. Like, I wanted to fit bottomless, I wanted to fit some real traps, because like the Eradicators do help you in terms of card advantage if you can hit like a lot of cards, but you still risk dying, because consider that to make the Vayu Synchro, you still have to pitch a card for Greffer, and like if the Greffer gets killed and your Synchro gets killed and the Eradicator gets killed, it's still, you know, you lost basically 3 cards already, and you didn't really impact. I mean, it's possible you impact the board a lot, but, you know, you can still get killed, for example, by their monsters. So, you know, that's one thing I would say for this deck. Like, I wish this was more viable, and I know, you know, there's a lot of cool like virus lists. Like there's the virus frog list from Pana, which is really cool, and I want to try at some point. There's a lot of cool, like, you know, lists using deck Devastation virus and Eradicator. And these are kind of underrated cards. And in a deck like Vayu, it seems to fit quite well, but, you know, it's kind of like the synchros are not exactly free. You know, like deck Devi is pretty much free with the Sirocco, with the Onwing. Like, to get to the Eradicator, you need to either use a Fusilier, that's probably the best way, or you have to sacrifice your Armor Master, which is not, you know, it's not always, you know, such a nice thing to do, because you also like to keep your Synchro and put pressure. But yeah, the rest of the deck is pretty standard. We have Skilled, this comes in a lot. Oppression, I even consider playing this in the main, but yeah, I think you just have too much stuff that doesn't impact the board enough. Pulling the Rag, Deep Prison, Eradicator, Charge, Raikos, and yeah, Crow and Kaiko in the side. Yeah, I mean, we have 1 Kaios, we have Gores, we have a few bombs in here as well. But yeah, the main kind of cool part of the deck is the viruses. In the first replay, we're playing as Duel Rhino, and this was kind of like a funny one in the sense that, like, look at his hand. He has, I don't know what he's playing. I think, oh yeah, it was like some type of zombie rice war. He has 5 spells in hand. And yeah, you know, here I'm playing on my second account, so we're not very high rated. But here I decided to go immediately for the Greffer. I probably should have gone. No, this is correct. I go for the Onwing. I could also have pitched the Elfin, so that, because the Sirocco is a little bit better in my hand, and could have gone for the Armor Master. But yeah, he wasn't sure if I was using special summon the effect. Of course, I declared the effect, so I was using the effect. Anyway, we summoned the Onwing and we set. For here I dash shoot, and like I decided to dash shoot just because I don't know what he's on, and I just want to know if it's worth it for me to deck Devi here. Otherwise I wouldn't necessarily dash shoot in this position all the time, but since we're going blind, I think it's good to dash shoot here. We do catch the Lyra, which, you know, he code waves and then he tries to activate something, and he doesn't remember that he can. Anyway, here we try to go for damage. I considered discarding this for the Greffer and making another Synchro, making an Armor Master. It'll be a little bit more damage. I even consider using a Lure, but actually I can't use a Lure yet, so I consider a few things, but I think this is the correct play, just to put as much pressure. And like here's where things get a little dicey, okay? He draws Goblin Zombie, and what I should have done when he uses the Lure, I should immediately deck Devid, because maybe I hit the only dark monster he had. Based on the Book of Life, most of the dark monsters he's gonna have in his hand are gonna be hit by this. If I would have done that, he would have discarded his whole hand, and this game would have been over. I didn't do that, unfortunately, and yeah, this kind of cost me because. Yeah, I mean, he did it a little bit fast with the Allure and everything, so I didn't really have, really think about it or have a chance to react, but if I chained it there, it would have been game. Here I decide to chain it now, don't hit anything. He has basically everything in hand, and he can actually pop everything. He has the perfect hand, he drew another Lyra. Yeah, we had some lag issues. Goes into Tatrur kills my Greffer, and now we're in trouble. He mills 3 for Lyra, we draw the goals, and I just pass. He draws Caius, he goes into Goyo, unfortunately, and here is kind of where it gets a little crazy, because, okay, he just makes, an incredible lead that I have the goals out of nowhere, because I think 99% of players here, he went into Goyo, and like, he might as well, like, if he wasn't going to attack with the Goyo, thinking I have gold, he should have just attacked with kept the Plague Spreader attacked and then after made the Goyo. Anyway, he just decides not to attack with the Goyo, which completely shocked me, because I was like, okay, I guess, like, you just know, and yeah, we draw nothing here. Yeah, we said everything, he just decides to attack. I was just hoping he would Caius, but anyway, we lose the game 1. A little bit unfortunate. If I would have played a little bit more, how to say, like, if I would have played with a little bit more purpose, I think, or like just like would have chained the deck Devi to the Lure, we would have won the game. So here he sets 1, passes. We kind of go back and forth. He goes for the Lyra, I dash shoot. You see, this is one of the reasons I like to hold the dash shoot, is because, like, in a slow hand like this, where we don't really know, now I get the information what he has. And like, he draws 1, I go for spells because I know he has 4 spells in hand. Yeah, we hit 4 cards with this already, which is crazy. The Lyra gets some more mills. We don't have a great hand, but good enough. We set on oppression. He draws another beast, which is pretty crazy as well. Goes for Sangan. Sangan has a Spirit Tree. Here, like, we don't really want to summon the Sirocco. I want to sacrifice my Gale for no reason. He also draws Foolish, so and then we can pop the Spirit Reaper. Gale attacks, he draws Caius, like, I decide to play it, so we go for Greffer goes for this, Darkharn, pop the Goblin Zombie, yeah, it was just gonna be game. We have the Blackwing Synchro, I know he's all hand, so it's just game. Here, game 3, he starts off with the Spirit Reaper, we go for the Armageddon Knight. I decide to attack just in case it's a Raikou or something. I mean, I don't know if they're siding in the Raikou or anything like that. Here he goes for Foolish, sends the Mizuki, tributes for Caius, okay. He goes for the Book of Life. He kind of plays right into Mirror Force, which I don't love. Like, if this was the play you're gonna make, I would have almost rather see him banish the set and then attack with the Caius over, and then attack with the Spirit Reaper, because he could have made me discard a card. I didn't chain the Crow. I mean, I did have the Crow. I didn't chain the Crow because I was hoping he would run into the Mirror Force, which he did. And here we do 4000 damage, and now we have the deck Devi again. And especially in these types of matchups, like, yeah, he goes for the Lyra again. Here we discard all 3 of his cards. I Crow his Goblins on me. Don't really want to give him anything. We have the Minecraft. Here I could have gone for the Greffer, discard, do more damage, but I need to keep a card in hand for the Minecraft. And I know that, like, if I can basically get rid of his next card, we're gonna win the game in the next turn. So he draws Treacherous, I use Minecraft, and yeah, we win the game. Yeah, nothing else you can do there. So that's kind of like an example of how this deck can be extremely powerful when you draw a combination like deck Devi, Mind Crash, and like you're in a controlling position. And against his deck particularly, like, he gets hurt really badly both by the Eradicator for spells and also by deck Devi for, for the small monsters. Next replay we're playing against Bake Edison. He's on a 41 card Vayu Turbo list. This looks to me like could be the Scissor 41. Here we just set to and pass. There is an argument. The thing is, like, I don't know what he's playing. I could just flip this deck Devi and try to hit whatever he has. The problem is that I'd rather him, like, you know, if he set a card I would have used this. I'd rather him like commit something to the field, like use his normal summon before using this. But anyway, he attacks. We have to use the deck Devi. By the way, if you don't know, the Future Real is even though it's halved, but you can set it, but it's halved. When it's face down, the game doesn't recognize it basically as its full attack, and so you can use it for deck Devi or Eradicator. And yeah, we hit a Raikou and an Armageddonite. Not great because the Armageddonite already got some value. Here we go for Greffer. We try to push our advantage a little bit. I know about the goals. Yeah, he summons the goals immediately. I was hoping he would wait for me to attack with Yarumasu, but well played by him to do it immediately. He sets one and passes. We brain control and it's game. Yeah, he sets the Torrential. Like, I know that he has Torrential and he could have drawn something else, but like, I kind of played it exactly how I wanted it. He didn't attack. He tried to play it passively. He was afraid of stuff, and like we had the brain control. So like I actually wanted him to have the goals, but yeah, just didn't want him to have the token. We run our Vayu into this hamster. He has a pretty good start. Yeah, this is where the hamster shines. It's like if people just assume you have Raikou and like just attack you with like the Armageddonite, with the Greffer, with whatever, like you can cook them. Here's where, okay, we go for heavy, we go for Greffer. I pitch both because I want to summon both monsters. So that's what I do. Here we go, and we basically clear the whole field. We are unfortunately though dead to the Sirocco, and yeah, we deck Devi because we want to get rid of Raikou. He does have the Sirocco, unfortunately. Like, we didn't really hit anything. I have to say, yeah, I for some reason I forgot that he used the effect, so I was just multitasking. I forgot. But anyway, yeah, I think we're dead to the Sirocco. And then here he starts off with charge. Like, we have a pretty bad hand, a pretty terrible hand to start off with, to be honest. He doesn't have an amazing hand, and like he tries to get tricky. He uses charge, and instead of saying Raikou sets the value, I mean, I respect it, I guess, but like, I don't know, it seems to me like early, you know, kind of overthinking a little bit, but okay. So now he has his value set here. We summon Sirocco, gets bottom list. He sets one more. I decide to heavy because otherwise I have to discard for hand size. So I just use my heavy. You know, you can make an argument if it's correct or not. Here I crow because I don't want to discard for hand size. Here he decides to dash shoot, which is interesting to me because like given how I discard my hand size, cause I don't want to set anything into potential Raikou. I really did believe he had the Raikou set. So yeah, he dash shoots it though. And we draw, and finally we draw something. I don't mind getting killed by the Raikou, so we go for card turbo, and I found out this whole time it was value, so that's a little bit of a fail. Now though he plays it way too passive, and this is why you would have rather that be the Raikou, because yes, like you don't want to trade with the card turbo, but at least like you don't get 2 for 1. Now we set 3 and pass. We are preparing for a great turn with return, and like with deck Devi, bottom, like we're ready to have a pretty good turn. Go for Armageddonite. I kind of know now that like there's most likely not gonna be another value, but it could be. I don't use Brio because I want him to use his bottom list or whatever, and then I can bring it back with return. So I bounce with Brio, and this is just game. Yeah, well played by him, but yeah, we have return is just such a good card. And yeah, we were talking a little bit about Vayu Turbo and stuff like that. Shout out to Edison, and yeah, he got kind of unlucky. He drew all 3 values, which is kind of funny because with the deck Devi I could have actually made this value arrive. In this Reaper we're playing against IBU on Machina Control with like the Hamster, Right Sword Engine. Starts off with the Hamster, we have the Eradicator and the Fusilier. He attacks. I decide to call traps because, I don't know, I just had a feeling he had more traps based on this. Like I thought this could be some Vayu Turbo, and they play more traps than spells, but it's a Machina Control, so you know, it would have been slightly better to call spells. We do hit a bottom list though. We go for a Rule, we go for a Sirocco, and now this deck Dev is going to take basically both of his set monsters. He draws another trap, which is good for us. And then summons the Fortress. I need to torrential that. I don't want to start taking damage. We go for Arm Wing, then we summon another Arm Wing with the Barrier, and yeah, we go for attacks. He does have the brain control, but in such a he has such a low life, and we have the Soren that it's not so much, it's not so easy. I saw him this, he kind of searched a little bit quickly, but yeah, I decided to saw him, otherwise I have to saw him anyway. He goes for the Avarice because he has no choice now. And he draws 2 traps, and so he has no chance. He's dead next turn. So yeah, that was pretty good showing. I mean, consider that like with both viruses we were checking for both traps and small monsters. Here I expect him to set a icon, but he sets a hamster, and I go for dash shoot. I think the dash shoot is a little bit soon maybe. But we get lucky. We take the gear frame though, which would have been pretty bad. We do have the MSC set. Unfortunately, he didn't have Raikou, he had a hamster, and now the Raikou is set. We go for him again. I don't want to attack the Raikou because I want to get some value out of this MST. Lyra gets to clear our Armageddon, and we MST the set card. Should have probably gone for the Sorum. But anyway, we go for Greffer. Greffer pitch Elfin, and I decided to play it. So, main phase 2, I summon the Armor Master, hoping it will survive, but unfortunately, he does have the Sorum, and we can't kill the Raikou. Raikou hits the oppression, and now, yeah, we're in trouble. I don't even play Cyber Dragon and stuff like that in the side here, which I guess you could argue is a mistake, but I don't know, it's hard to find space in a deck like this. We have Brain Control, take the Card Troop, where there's like just a last ditch effort to do something. We had Bonus, he also has Deep Prison, so there was really no chance there. And yeah, that's game 2. Game 3, we have a pretty good start. We get to set the Fusilier and the Eradicator, and here he doesn't set anything, which I think is smart because it doesn't really give me such a big lead into what he has. He doesn't heavy either, which I think is also smart. And then yeah, we takes the gear frame with the dash shoot, and he draws 2 more spells, goes finally for his hamster to attack, but we do have the Eradicator. And it's kind of unlucky for him because if we had the deck Devi, this by body could have protected. But we do have the Eradicator, and I call spells just because I feel like, okay, I saw the heavy, I know he probably has more spells. We get this Raikou use with the Vayu. He has another hamster. He summons the Raikou. And here I have to have Mirror Force. I can't wait because the Raikou next to him can just pop my Mirror Force for free. So, which is where this happened. We go for the Fusilier, set everything and pass. Here, if you see somebody summon a Fusilier like this, you know, either they're like attacking something or like, you know, they have skill drain. And so here he tributes both for the Fortress, which is a little bit, okay, like, yes, you've cleared my Fusilier, but I don't know. I know that he has Force in hand, so I decide to Crow preemptively. By the way, you can't chain Crow to the Fortress, so you have to do it before. So I was thinking in the end of battle phase, I crowed his Fortress, which was pretty good, otherwise we might have been dead actually. So like, that was a pretty clutch DD Crow. Here I know about the Torrential, so he summons the Trooper is only 400, so because of the skill drain, but he also doesn't get to banish because of skill drain. So here we can use our, because of skill drain we can use our value in the grave. He goes for Avarice, and like we know the heavy storm is gone, so we can set pretty freely. We do have a heavy in our own hand. I think setting this deck Devi was for sure a mistake because it locked us out of like other plays, and here's where kind of the game starts out a little bit. Here he draws sets, I mean, he starts attacking. Here he has 4 monsters or 3 monsters in the grave. We go for Sirocco, Chain, Bottomless. Like every time you see Sirocco, you should kind of know that like especially in a deck like this where you've seen like he's gotten virus, like I use so many viruses here. He doesn't draw anything small. I think he probably sided out of some things. He attacks. I decide to use the Garna. I have that Dark Arm I'm trying to summon, and I have too many Darks in the grave. And here we attack with the Fusilier, and I decide to play it, so I could have played it faster with the heavy and all that. We Bottomless, take control of the gear frame, and then here I heavy Storm finally. And yeah, he has 2 Legacy of Yata because I know, because he's shown them to me due to the viruses, so I know that even if he draws of these, and he's under deck Devi, by the way, he can't really draw Battle Fader or anything like that. And I guess he could draw the Ghost. He could draw that, but like even in that situation, we're gonna return, bring everything back, and then yeah, just go for game. So in the next game, we have kind of a very interesting matchup. We're playing against a Chaos anti-meta deck, which is kind of interesting. It's, I have to say, like any type of deck like this, like cows, like this anti-meta decks in general do quite well against like the meta decks, like the main, you know, I mean, of course you see in the name, but like generally these anti-meta decks struggle against stuff like hero beat and like stuff like this, and do quite well against like the, you know, the chaos, against the Vayu and like the, you know, Blackwing. And in general they're designed to beat Vayu, Blackwing, and heroes and the frogs and hero frog, and they usually don't do so well against like other you know, mid-range decks, or what you want to call control decks. Here we go for the Armor Master. I do have the Eradicator, but I don't really know what he's going for. I could have called spells to play around Heavy Storm and something like that, but you know, I decided not to. Here he smashings, gets rid of the Grapher, which hurts, and then now he sets and passes. I think here for a little bit, and I decided to Eradicator traps to play around the Solemn Judgment. Here we set 2. Unfortunately though, and this is really the tragedy, is that this dash shoot is completely useless. And the problem and the reason for this is because he got Eradicator, then he has no cards in hand, and yeah, basically for the rest of the game this dash shoot is useless. Here we go for the Sirwin. I try to play aggressive because I want to, like, here's my thing. I know about the Kaiko, and if the Kaiko attacks over the Gale, like he banishes the guy for a big deal, I take the Kaiko and the Sirwin should be game. If the Kaiko attacks the Sirwin and shrinks, it should be game, in the sense of next, well, not it should be game, but like next turn I can take the Kaiko, go into Armor Master. So like we're still in a good position. I just have to fade basically almost exactly this top deck. I think there were a couple other really good top decks, but this one was pretty much near in the coffin because it clears both monsters. Here after Lure, set 1, pass. He plays around Mail Force, Smart 3. I need to, like, I can't just let this Kaiko attack me forever, so I need to take the damage. I do have the Brain Control. I go for Grapher, Chaos Sorcerer, and attack. Here it's a little bit kind of weird because like he could have said to do the shrinking damage step, but yeah, here I kind of have to, yeah, he shrinks. I have to think about it. He could have waited for damage step, and if he would have said that I know about the shrink, so I would have changed the deck Devi anyway. But unfortunately he does have Cyber Dragon, which in this late game situation is actually one of the best cards you can have. It's just a big monster. We both don't have anything, and here is kind of where it goes sideways. Yeah, we take the damage, summon the Armageddon Knights, and Gardener pass, and he draws Thunder King, and we have to negate it, and yeah, he has the Brain Color, so it was gonna be game. Yeah, he was saying that like if I should have been more clear of what phase we were in the battle phase, because he could have used shrink in damage step, and that would have meant that I need to use the virus before he uses the shrink. And so for that reason, you know, for him, like he said attack declaration, so that's why I use the virus, but like I could have been more clear on that. And I think in general you want to try to have as clear communication as possible. One of the things I would say, like, always show the faces, so if your opponent does any close, anything like that, then they have to do it now. In standby phase or draw phase, they can't. Once you're in the main phase, you can do stuff before your opponent can respond. And then, yeah, he is Italian, so you know his name means I steal, but a little bit. So shout out to him. We had a good talk after as well. It was it was a fun match. Here he goes for a Thunder King, and this is where I think cards like Shrink are actually very underrated. Similar to Book of Moon, but this can be used in damage step. And I've seen this used in GB, so this saves the Thunder King from the bottomless. We go for heavy. He has Yata, which again, not a great trade for us. We set 1 and pass. He also has Honest, not great. Reiko pops. We go for Breakthrough. I go for this Armory Arm. I decide to play around potentially goals by attacking first, and then Goyo. But I should just use Goyo. He has heavy, of course, as a DD Warrior already. I could have negated with the Gardener, but like, I don't know, I guess I could have played this better. He has a Kaiko, and it's just game. And I asked him to send me his list of Chaos Anti-Meta, so if you want to see, you know, I don't know if I'll use exactly his list, but if you want to see some games with an anti-meta deck, Chaos Anti-Meta deck with these cool, kind of just really annoying monsters to deal with, let me know, and I'll make a video on that as well. So we're playing against Batti. He's, you know, he's pretty high rated. And we get to go first though. If we can have a good, I mean, from this I'm assuming it's Vayu Turbo, but like could be anything. If we can have a good, yeah, a pretty good start like this, Future Hero deck Devi is not bad. I think we do want to probably have a pretty decent start, start off like this. I think I don't mind this getting heavy because we can chain the deck Devi, so we pass. Yeah, that's fine. Goes for the value. Okay. I have to use this now, unfortunately, because otherwise, yeah, I have to use this now. So we're gonna chain this. He's playing Black Wings. Okay, so double Icarus. Yata, Jar. Aura. I'm writing this down just so we remember. Okay. Okay, that's quite annoying. We do hit one value, and like the reason why we have to do this is that once this flips, it's no longer has the original attack. So we saw, okay, he doesn't really have anything for the Scout Trooper now. So I'm fine with going for this. We could even, there's even an argument for like, yeah, I think we go for the Trooper. Like we could just mirror something. Okay, value is always good, and like I think we just go for an attack. There was an argument for how you want to play this after. He's gonna summon Bora most likely, and we could set the Solemn to play around the Icarus, but he does have 2. And like if we lose the Trooper, we're actually pretty fine with this trade. So I think we just pass. We don't want to set anything. You have to show me what you draw. Okay, draw Dark Arm, that's not it here. Yeah. Sure, you have to... Okay, another... He's just fading. Yeah, I think he's trying to... Oh my god, he draws a Sure. Okay, that's fine. We have 2 bottomless here, there's no other way. I think he's probably gonna chain the Icarus, yeah. We get to draw a card. Hopefully he doesn't have a... Okay, we do have the dash shoot, which is good. He only set 1. So we know this is most likely another Yata. Could be also... Could be something else too, but this is most likely another Yata. And this is on 2 now. And yeah, I think this was a fine trade. We're gonna set... I think just setting everything is fine here. And we're gonna get to dash shoot here. Okay, no dash shoot. But when he uses his Yata, then we're gonna get to... This could be... okay, let me think about that. I think we need to Solemn this. Yeah, this is kind of unfortunate. Because okay, if he basically got exactly what he needed, basically. Yeah. By the way, you can, if you don't have 8,000 life points, you can do half. Yeah. So now he's gonna go for the Icarus. This is kind of unfortunate, but okay. He sets 1. I'm guessing he's passing. I have a feeling that he set the Yata, and the other one, and the one he just said now is Icarus, but it could be the opposite too. So I could be mistaken. He does still have a Bora in hand. We got unlucky, I have to say. Like we really got unlucky, and like not unlucky in the sense like he kind of like his dad kind of was perfect here. So yeah, so this is the Icarus because he's not summoning the Bora. So that's we have that much information. Brain control. Brain control is interesting. We just pass here. So he does have Bora in hand. We know he has set Icarus and another Legacy of Yata. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I wish he had 4 cards in hand so we could get some value of this dash shoot. That is annoying. We might almost be dead to this. Okay. Okay, we take 18. So here's the thing. I just need to hope that he hits the other 2. Because I can't give him value and I let him use the Shura. Okay, but if we get the Synchros out, then we're fine. I think we're perfectly fine if this is the trade we make. And if he hits a Torrential, then I can summon my Armor Master, so I think this is the correct play. Okay, let's see. I think we just have to go for it. Yeah, so he changed the Icarus, targets both. I think we want to chain. I don't know if I think we want to chain the deck Devi. I think we want to chain it in case he has exactly Blizzard or something like that. I think we want to chain this. We could just keep this to do 2000 damage, but I don't think it's really worth it. I think we just chain this. And then this goes to grave. He has Bora and Sirocco. Okay, so I guess we played around it. We played around potentially him summoning his own Sirocco by doing this. The only thing we have to be a little bit concerned about is that like we're getting quite long life. We already normal summoned. Yeah, I think we just have to pass. There was Karut. I mean, we got some value out of this, I have to say. Goes for the Bora. Yeah, here's where I kind of could have. I guess like it's gonna make our mind control that. The point is that if I don't do it now, okay, I think I have to play it in this way. Is he dead to Sirocco? This is 6,000. He would take 4,300. He's not quite dead. Okay, I think we just have to go for this. He does have Sirocco in hand, but like we have to just start going for damage. If he top decks Heavy Storm, it's game. Like, don't really have a chance to do anything. If he top decks MST, at least this is gonna be a bluff. Hopefully he draws Blizzard. Top decks gold, that's not ideal. Wait, let's see if, I'm guessing, I don't think it's pretty, I think we have to do this. We just have to. Yeah. He does have golds in hand. We have one more turn of deck heavy. Oh, he has value. We're dead to the value. That was just bad. Did he have value before? Wow, he just missed it. Okay. We got kind of lucky there. So what are our win conditions here? Our win condition is basically that like we attack, he attacks us with, like, there's very few things we can do here. I think the only thing we can really do is, but one option is to wait, but then we're dead to anything. So I think we just summon this and don't attack, and try to wait until we have a situation where we could win the game. The problem is like, okay, with not attacking, we do have the Mirror Force though, and we put in a situation where he has to kind of go for it. Yeah, what do you do? Like, do you attack into the golds? Like, if attack into the gold, it's obvious we have the Mirror Force. If we draw, I think we just have to go for it. This could be a mistake, but like, yeah, summons the golds. We're gonna set one and pass. I think we just have to go for it. He top decks another monster. This is the last turn. Yeah, he got the Blizzard, so we did get the Blizzard. Here, yeah, this is kind of what I was afraid of. I think we have to Mirror Force here. Ah, the Fusilier doesn't really do much here, does it? Yeah, we're dead. I'm pretty sure we're dead here. Well, we can set this though. Well, we're not quite dead. This is 2500. Okay. We can set this, and there is a world in which he forgets about his value. There is a world in which this somehow works. And then we can tribute this. Okay. Please summon your value. Well, I mean, that's a pretty good draw. I think we just have to go for it. I don't know how exactly. So what could that be? From what we're seeing, this could be Mirror Force, Bottomless, Deep Prison. I think we're better off playing around. I mean, I think for sure they have Bottomless in here. They could have the Mirror Force, they could have the Deep Prison, but I think we're better off playing around like this. I mean, it could be Torrential, but like the Torrential we can't play around. I think we do this and just hope, and then we can end on an Armor Master. Let's see. So oh wow, can't believe we won that game. If he would have just summoned his use his value in the grave, he could have easily, not easily, but he could have won that. I mean, wow. Okay, we're bringing Starlight. The deck Devi was actually pretty good, was actually pretty important. Dash Shoot is not great. Mind Crash is okay. Like the Mind Crash, you saw, like we have very few cards in hand. The Starlight is good for the Icarus. I like the Eradicator against traps. Like I could get rid of his stuff. Crow is okay. Raikou is okay. Prison is okay. Like none of these are like amazing. The point with Prison is that he can just attack. So I think going second, we might want Prison over one of the Eradicators. And then the other problem is that all the stuff is like pretty weak to Ashura. So yeah, like all the stuff you don't really want to have into Ashura. Skill Drain could be good. Yes, 1 second. It literally has been like it's been 30 seconds, and like I hate people like this. Like after like 30 seconds already, like, are you there? I think okay, I think we leave it like this. Skill Drain could be good, but I don't know. I just don't think it's great here. Okay, since we're doing the virus deck, should we just go all in? Just go in the virus stuff, and then go from there. At this point, I guess if I have these, I'm bringing in the Skill Drain as well. So Deep Prison, and instead of what are we cutting? I think Goals is like okay against Blackwings. Like it's good, but like with Skill Drains in, and like the fact that they have Icarus and stuff like that is not ideal. Okay, we have okay. Any deck, Sirocco and deck Devi is pretty good. Double Sirocco is even better. Let's see. I think we just have to Hemisti this. This could be the Yata, but yeah, like if this Sirocco gets Bottomless, it's too bad. He could have double Karut, but if he has double Karut, he has double Karut. Let's see what happens. I hope he summons his own Sirocco. Okay, let's see. Yeah. So he attacks. I have to do this now. I can't let him. Yeah, he has Karut in hand for sure, and Blizzard. My body. Okay, we take 18 though. And 17. But now this Sirocco can just dominate here. So he does have my body. We draw Eradicate. This is on 1. Yeah, I mean this Sirocco can just dominate unless he draws like exact. I mean actually even Darkroom doesn't help him here. So I'm clearing the Shura first. Like that thing is very dangerous. Yeah, he takes a ton of damage, and now we can pass. And now like he's in tough situation. Draws Deep Prison. Okay, that's a pretty good draw for him. Okay, so that's 2. We know about my body and the Deep Prison, so this goes on 2. I kind of want him to use the Deep Prison, but at the same time, like, just because you're losing, you have to like rush people. Okay, I think we're gonna use this, and now we can, yeah, if he prisons, we can go do it on spells. He has to prison. We're gonna chain this, call spells. This goes to grave. I mean, now like there is like a half a chance like we're dead, but most likely no. Take 400 and he's just dead. GG. Yeah, I mean, that was just, I don't know what to say. He just got absolutely demolished here. We drew 2 Siroccos, which is insane, and you know, even against Blackwings, I'm kind of surprised how good the deck dev is. I guess they do play 3 Blizzards, 3 Kanroot, 1 Vayu, 1 Gale, and so they do play 8 targets, but like, I mean, we got pretty lucky. Like, this was just got absolutely demolished here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you want to get better at Edison. I'll catch you in the next one.